Yes, there is a stigma, but now how do I handle? That was the question I asked myself when I was still even behind bars. How am I going to handle this? But I went out there and told myself to be myself because that's what I've learned from the program as well, that you have to be just yourself. It does not matter what other people are saying about you, but as long as you know yourself. And that was the key point for me, was knowing myself. What do I want in life? What do I want to achieve? And yes, I knew that a lot of people, they lost faith in me. Some of them were very even close to me. But when I wasn't present, they just throw the towel away and say that it's gone. And they started to label me that, you know, you will never make it in life again. But there was a moral story that I loved the most from the program, of the tower and the tiny frogs that were about to climb this huge, tall tower. But when they started to climb, there were criticisms all over around saying that you are just tiny frogs and you will never make it to the top. And they kept falling one by one. And everyone was screaming, saying that you are just tiny frogs, you will never make it. But in the end, there was this tiny frog that just kept going while the others were falling. And it just kept going up until it reached the top. And they wanted to find out, how did it manage to reach the top? I was so interested with the findings. They find out that the tiny frog, after all, it was deaf and it did not hear all those criticisms. And that's how it managed to reach the top. So for me now, I took that moral story and implemented it in my life, that, I will never stop people from talking. People will always talk. But what matters is that, how do I know myself? What is the truth about myself? What are lies about myself? And I needed to do it not to prove to people that I've changed. I needed to prove to myself that, if people can see potential in you, why can't you see that potential in yourself? Then I had to dig deep to myself to find who am I really. And today I know who I am. And it's not only the community that don't just trust us. Because remember, I had parents, and when I came back, my parents were still there. And people were still saying things to my parents that, if he comes from that place after so many years, it's hardly that people that come there, they can change. And in the back of my parents' mind, there was still that it's hardly that he is going to change. Because they always want to see me in front of their eyes. When I was away from their eyes, I would hear a phone call asking me where I am, thinking maybe I've gone back to where I come from. Yes, when I came back, there were temptations. But this time it was different. Because I really know what I wanted in life. And those goals that I had in life, I told myself that, it's never too late to change the negative patterns into positive patterns. Then I told myself that, this time around, I am going to stick with it. Because, in the location, in the life that I lived previously, it was associated with brand names and everything, even in clothing. Clothing was so special in a way that everyone is so obsessed with fashion. But this time around, I was not obsessed with anything. I was just obsessed about myself and being a parent. And I saw the world differently than it was previously. And I was so obsessed of being this responsible parent that my kids one day can look up to me and say that, I am who I am today because of that man. And, I told myself that, I know it's going to be difficult. Even by the time I was still in prison, there were inmates that always criticized my efforts and saying that, who is going to hire even you when you go out there? Just relax and do what we do around here. But this time around, I was tired of trying to fit in life to whoever is around me. Because there is a saying that they always say, especially in the location, that if you can't beat them, you must just join them. But this time around, I was so equipped and told myself that, I'm going to prove them wrong. And today, they do come to me and ask me, how did you manage to do this? And I told them, with the right circle of influence around you, you are able to do it. Because remember, choosing a circle of influence, it starts with you, and it's up to you. Who do you choose to be around you? Who motivates you the most, and who brings the best out of you? And those are the people that I chose to stick with, those that bring the best out of me. If I saw that though they don't bring value in my life, then I just walk away. I don't need to stick with people that don't bring value in my life. So the temptation, they came all the way. But I told myself that, deep down in your hearts that where I come from, that's not the place to be. But you are fooling yourselves if you are saying that you are man enough for that place. That place was never meant for me in the beginning. But, I just see it. It was like a blessing in disguise for me, because that's where I got the wake-up call that there's so much in life than I used to think before. But now today, I'm living a proof that, if change needs to be, it has to start with me. And, today I'm having a best relationship that anyone could have ever had with his kids. I love my kids so much, and they mean the world to me. And I know for them to travel all the distance, I need to be there in their lives and be involved and be the motivator all the way. They my friends, they are everything to me. My beautiful wife, she forms part of the puzzle as well. And for me, I will never exchange the life that I live now for anything in this world. If change needs to be, it starts with me.